Have you ever stopped to notice how your thoughts shape your entire reality? Every belief, every internal dialogue, and even those quiet whispers in your mind, each one becomes the lens through which you view the world. And more than that, they act like magnets, subtly attracting the kind of energy and experiences that match your inner state. Your mind, in many ways, is like a garden. What you plant in it will grow. If you sow seeds of patience, kindness, and clarity, your life begins to reflect those qualities. But if you constantly plant doubt, anger, or fear, those are the weeds that take over. The Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." This isn't just poetic, it's a truth that plays out quietly, day by day, thought by thought. Most people don't know how much power they hold in shaping their inner world. We often let the mind run wild, reacting, overthinking, worrying. But what if you could train your mind the way a monk trains for stillness? What if you could learn to choose the thoughts that serve your growth, your peace, your purpose? In this video, we'll journey through 7 timeless lessons inspired by Buddhist wisdom, each one a step toward feeding your mind with intention. These aren't just teachings to hear, they're practices to live by. Because when you begin to feed your mind with awareness, compassion, and purpose, your life transforms from the inside out. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Your thoughts are the seeds of reality. Imagine your mind as fertile soil, ready to grow whatever you plant in it. Each thought you entertain is a seed. Some seeds are filled with compassion, patience, and humility. Others carry anger, jealousy, and fear. What you nurture in the silence of your inner world eventually blossoms in the life you live. In Buddhism, this truth lies at the heart of practice. The Buddha taught that with our thoughts, we make the world. It's not just poetic, it's a psychological and spiritual principle. The thoughts you hold influence your speech, shape your actions, and guide the intentions behind everything you do. Like a ripple in a pond, one small thought can spread outward, affecting your mood, your relationships, even the direction of your life. If you're constantly repeating inner stories of resentment, lack, or unworthiness, those become the blueprint of your experience. But if you choose to plant thoughts of kindness, gratitude, and equanimity, you begin to live in alignment with peace and purpose. This is why mindfulness and meditation are not just spiritual rituals. They are tools for mental cultivation. When you sit quietly and observe your mind without judgment, you begin to see which seeds you've been watering. Are they rooted in fear or in love, in craving or in contentment? The Noble Eightfold Path, one of Buddhism's core teachings, includes something called right thought, a conscious effort to replace harmful thinking with wholesome intention. It's a reminder that every mental habit either builds a bridge to peace or a wall of suffering. So the next time a thought arises, pause. Ask yourself, is this a seed I want to grow? Because over time, those thoughts will take shape in your reality, in your words, in your choices, in the very fabric of your life. Feed your mind with the thoughts you want to live, and you'll find the outer world slowly begins to reflect the calm, clarity, and kindness blooming within you. Lesson 2. Guard the gates of your mind. Think of your mind like a sacred temple. Every sight, sound, and word you allow in is like a visitor entering that temple. Some come with peace, others come to stir chaos. And yet, most of us leave the doors wide open, letting in noise, negativity, and nonsense, without even realizing the damage it causes. In Buddhism, this practice is known as guarding the doors. Being deeply mindful of what we allow into our consciousness through what we see, hear, read, and engage with. Why? Because the mind is impressionable. What it absorbs, it mirrors. If you're constantly surrounded by conflict, gossip, fear-driven media, or people who drain your energy, your inner world starts to reflect that chaos. The peace you're searching for gets buried under noise that was never yours to carry. But you have the power to choose your inputs. You get to decide what enters your mental space. Start asking yourself, what am I feeding my mind today? Instead of waking up and scrolling through anxiety-filled headlines, try listening to a short Dharma teaching. Swap out shallow conversations for meaningful connections that nourish your soul. Spend a few quiet moments in nature, letting the wind, the trees, the silence become your teachers. Even small choices can shift your entire inner atmosphere. Reading a verse from the Dhammapada, sitting in silence with your breath, or simply limiting your time around toxic influences. These aren't grand gestures, but they are sacred ones. Each choice you make becomes a step toward mental clarity, emotional balance, and spiritual grounding. Remember this: your environment becomes your mindset, so shape it with intention. Surround yourself with what uplifts, calms, and aligns you with the person you're becoming. The mind doesn't forget what it sees and hears, so let it witness beauty, let it hear truth, let it absorb peace. Lesson 3. Break free from autopilot thinking. Have you ever caught yourself reacting before you even realize what you're doing, snapping at someone, spiraling into worry, or repeating the same argument in your head for the 100th time? This is what the Buddha warned us about: the trap of mindless reactivity. It's like living your life with your eyes half closed, stumbling through moments on autopilot, driven by old patterns, old pain, and unconscious fears. These reactions aren't really you. They're echoes from the past, programs installed long ago by trauma, conditioning, or years of unchecked habit. The problem is, the more we feed these automatic responses, the deeper they root themselves in our minds. We become prisoners of our own thoughts, replaying the same stories, feeling the same emotions, and wondering why peace always feels just out of reach. But here's the powerful truth: you don't have to live like that. Buddhist practice teaches us to pause, to become the silent witness instead of the reactive mind. That pause is everything. It's the space where awareness enters. When you notice yourself triggered, overwhelmed, or frustrated, don't fight it. Just pause. Breathe. Observe the thought behind the emotion. Is it fear whispering in your ear? Is it anger clinging to old wounds? Is it jealousy disguised as comparison? Name it gently, no judgment. And then, choose again. Choose a response aligned with clarity. Choose compassion over defensiveness, patience over irritation, stillness over reaction. Every time you break free from autopilot thinking, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. You stop being a slave to your emotions and start becoming the master of your mind. Over time, your reactions soften, your presence strengthens, and your life begins to reflect the stillness you've cultivated inside. Don't underestimate this one shift. It's not just about controlling reactions. It's about transforming your entire inner world. Lesson 4. Reframe every challenge as a gateway to wisdom. Life doesn't ask for your permission before it tests you. The heartbreak, the loss, the job you didn't get, the people who let you down. These moments arrive uninvited. And our first instinct? To resist. To ask, why is this happening to me? To turn away from pain and grasp for comfort. But Buddhism invites us to ask a different question. What if this suffering is not a curse, but a teacher? The Buddha never promised a life without pain. In fact, he called suffering the first noble truth. But he also gave us a way to understand it, to work with it, and even grow because of it. The lesson is simple, yet profound. Suffering can awaken something powerful within us, if we allow it. Think of Buddhist monks who train their minds by embracing discomfort, waking up before dawn, sitting still for hours, walking barefoot through cold streets. Why? Because they understand something many of us forget. That true strength is born in the fire of challenge. When we stop asking, "How do I avoid this pain?" and start asking, "What is this moment trying to teach me?" everything changes. Maybe the breakup is teaching you self-worth. Maybe the failure is showing you humility. Maybe the delay is building your patience. Maybe the loss is guiding you to let go. This shift in perspective doesn't erase the pain, but it reclaims your power within it. It says, "I will not run, I will not numb. I will sit with this discomfort and learn." This is how suffering becomes sacred, how wounds become windows, how darkness becomes the soil where wisdom grows. So the next time life gets heavy, don't close your heart. Open it. Let the challenge pass through you, not just over you. Ask gently, "What is life teaching me here?" Because when you feed your mind with this question, something beautiful begins to grow. Resilience, clarity, and a quiet strength that no storm can shake. Lesson 5. Make gratitude your daily ritual. Gratitude in Buddhism isn't just a polite response or a fleeting feeling. It's a practice, a form of mindfulness that gently brings us back to the present moment and reminds us, we already have enough. You see, the human mind is restless by nature. It constantly scans for what's missing: more success, more love, more peace, always reaching forward, always craving. The Buddha taught that this endless desire is the root of suffering. But what if there was a simple, silent act that could ease that suffering? That act is gratitude. When we practice gratitude, we're not just listing things we like, we're retraining the mind. We're choosing to pause and recognize what is, rather than what isn't. And that shift is powerful. It softens our cravings and fills our hearts with quiet contentment. Start small. Before you reach for your phone in the morning, breathe. Think of 3 things you're thankful for. The morning light spilling through your window, the quiet hush before the world awakens, the warmth of the bed that held you through the night. These aren't grand moments, they're ordinary. But in those ordinary moments lie extraordinary peace. And the more you practice this, the more your mind begins to notice the small blessings that once went unseen. This habit becomes even more sacred when life feels heavy. When the world seems to close in, the practice of gratitude becomes a light, revealing that even amid struggle, there is something good. Maybe it's a friend who checks in, a stranger's smile, a moment of stillness in a storm. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it softens it. It reminds us that joy and sorrow can exist side by side. That fulfillment isn't about having more, but about seeing clearly. Over time, something beautiful happens. Your mind begins to settle. The chase for something else begins to fade, and in its place grows a gentle appreciation for what is already here. This is not just a mental exercise, it's a spiritual awakening. Gratitude, practiced daily, can transform your inner world. It makes life feel fuller, calmer, more rooted in the present. And in this stillness, you begin to understand what the Buddha meant when he said, "Let us be grateful, for without gratitude, there is no peace." Lesson 6. Visualize the person you wish to become. In the Buddhist tradition, the mind is not just a mirror of the world, it is a garden. What we plant in it, we eventually become. And one of the most powerful tools for planting the seeds of transformation is visualization. But this isn't about simply fantasizing or wishful thinking. Visualization in Buddhism is a sacred practice, a mental rehearsal where we begin to embody our highest qualities before they fully bloom in our lives. Imagine for a moment that you're not just aiming for patience, you're living it. You see yourself in a moment of tension, not reacting, but breathing. You hear your voice, calm and steady. You feel warmth in your chest as you offer compassion instead of criticism. In that moment of visualization, you're not reaching for patience, you are already patient. This is the heart of bhavana, mental cultivation. Visualization is not passive, it's an intentional act of shaping the inner landscape. Just as a musician practices scales to master the instrument, we use mental imagery to master our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Neuroscience has even caught up with what Buddhist monks have known for centuries. Visualizing an act activates the same brain circuits as performing it. But this practice isn't just for monks or mystics. Anyone can do it. If your goal is inner peace, don't just wish for it, see it. Picture yourself walking through life's chaos with grace. See yourself in stressful situations, but unmoved, grounded like a mountain. Feel the steadiness in your breath, the clarity in your gaze. Make this image vivid, hear the ambient sounds, notice the colors around you, even sense the temperature in the air. The more detailed the vision, the more real it becomes. And soon, it isn't just an image, it's a guide, an internal compass you return to when life tries to throw you off course. This is how visualization bridges the gap between the person you are and the person you are becoming. It softens self-doubt, rewires limiting beliefs, and rewrites the inner narrative from "I hope to be calm" to "I am becoming calm," and the shift is subtle but profound. Rather than seeing yourself as someone lacking peace or discipline or compassion, you begin to see those qualities as already within you, waiting to be expressed. Visualization helps you uncover your true nature, not fabricate it. In Buddhism, this is not about striving to be better in the worldly sense. It's about returning to your original self, the one already full of wisdom, clarity, and kindness. The Buddha never said you needed to add something to be whole. He taught that you simply need to uncover what's already there beneath the noise. Visualization is how we water the seeds of this inner wisdom. It's how we gently pull the weeds of doubt, fear, and distraction, and cultivate a mental environment where peace can grow. So take time each day to sit quietly and visualize not just your goals, but your essence. See yourself as the embodiment of patience, compassion, resilience. Picture yourself moving through the world with intention and grace. With each session, you're not chasing an illusion. You're becoming aligned with who you truly are. And as that image becomes clearer in your mind, it becomes more present in your life. Until one day, you're no longer trying to become the person you imagined. You are that person. Lesson 7. Cultivate the gentle power of self-compassion. In the journey toward inner peace, one of the most radical and transformative steps we can take is to treat ourselves with kindness. In Buddhism, self-compassion is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the ground upon which emotional healing and spiritual growth take root. The Buddha taught that to truly offer love and compassion to others, we must first extend it inward. And yet, for many of us, this is the hardest place to begin. We've been conditioned to believe that being hard on ourselves will push us forward, make us stronger, or protect us from failure. But what it often does is break us from within. Buddhist teachings remind us that self-criticism is like picking up a second arrow after already being struck by the first. Pain is a part of life, but the extra suffering we create through guilt, shame, or harsh self-judgment is not. Self-compassion, what Buddhism calls metta for oneself, is the practice of meeting our flaws and failures not with punishment, but with presence. It's the inner voice that says, "I see you. I know this is hard, and I'm still here with you." It starts by recognizing our shared humanity. Everyone stumbles, everyone suffers. And in that understanding, we realize we are never truly alone in our pain. Instead of pulling away from ourselves, self-compassion invites us to reconnect with who we are and with others around us. One of the most powerful ways to grow this quality is through metta bhavana, or loving-kindness meditation. It begins simply. You sit quietly and offer phrases of goodwill to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. At first, these words might feel strange or empty, but with time, they soften your inner world. They gently replace the sharp edges of self-judgment with warmth, with softness, with care. You may begin to notice your inner voice changing, no longer a harsh critic, but a kind companion. And this shift doesn't just bring comfort, it makes you stronger. Because when life knocks you down, it's not criticism that helps you rise, it's compassion. Self-compassion also invites forgiveness, not just towards others, but toward ourselves. We all carry burdens from the past, mistakes, regrets, the weight of things we wish we had done differently. But Buddhism teaches that holding on to the past is like carrying a heavy sack on your back. It slows you down and dims your inner light. Forgiveness is how we put that weight down. This doesn't mean forgetting the past or pretending it didn't matter. It means seeing it clearly, learning from it, and then choosing to move forward, lighter, freer, and wiser. Just as important is the understanding of anatta, or non-self. This teaching reminds us that we are not a fixed identity. We are not defined by the worst thing we've done or the harshest thought we've ever had. We are always changing, always becoming. And when we truly accept this, we stop clinging to old versions of ourselves. We open the door to transformation. This mindset becomes a stable foundation. Instead of constantly seeking approval or fearing rejection, we learn to become our own source of support. In moments of doubt or failure, we can gently remind ourselves, I am still learning. I am still worthy. And in that space, resilience is born, not from pressure or force, but from self-acceptance. As we grow in self-compassion, we naturally begin to share it with others. We become more patient, more understanding of their imperfections, because we no longer demand perfection from ourselves. Our relationships deepen, our empathy expands, and the harshness that once filled our inner world softens, replaced by a quiet strength. In time, self-compassion becomes not just something we practice, but a way of living. It teaches us that gentleness is not weakness, it is strength with open arms. It's the courage to love ourselves, even in the moments when we feel unlovable. To begin again, even when we've stumbled. And most importantly, it gives us the power to nourish the mind with kindness. The Buddha said, "What we think, we become." If our inner world is filled with blame and bitterness, that is the world we carry wherever we go. But if we choose to feed our minds with loving, uplifting thoughts, we begin to create a life of peace, from the inside out. So ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind today? Every moment offers a choice. Choose compassion. Choose kindness. Choose the freedom that comes from standing on your own side. Embrace the present moment as your true home. In a world driven by speed, comparison, and endless striving, one of the greatest acts of healing and quiet rebellion is simply to be here now. The Buddha taught that true peace doesn't come from having more, doing more, or becoming more. It comes from fully arriving in this moment, just as it is, without needing to change it, escape it, or chase after the next thing. But how often do we truly live in the present? Most of the time our minds are elsewhere, regretting the past, worrying about the future, or chasing an ideal life that never quite arrives. This constant restlessness becomes a form of suffering, keeping us trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. Mindfulness is the practice that helps free us from this cycle. It's not just a technique, it's a way of living. It means showing up for your life, not only when things are calm or perfect, but in the ordinary moments, in the mess, in the stillness, and even in the noise. When you bring your full attention to the present moment, even the simplest things feel sacred. The warmth of your coffee, the sound of leaves rustling, the gentle rhythm of your breath. These ordinary moments become gateways to joy. You begin to see that peace was never far away. It was always right here, waiting for you to notice. This doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy. Challenges will still arise. Emotions will still surface. But through mindfulness, you create space between what happens and how you choose to respond. You become less reactive, more grounded, and more aware of what's truly happening within you and around you. You stop chasing happiness like a moving target and instead begin to find it where it has always been, in the present moment. This is what it means to come home to yourself, to stop living in the past or the future, and to plant your feet firmly in the ground of now, to live from a place of stillness instead of constantly searching for it. As the Zen saying reminds us, when you walk, just walk. When you sit, just sit. But above all, don't wobble. This is the art of presence, the ability to stay steady in a world that keeps shifting. And here's the secret. The more you honor the present moment, the more it gives back to you. It offers clarity, peace, purpose. The deep sense that you are exactly where you need to be, not because everything is perfect, but because you are truly awake to your life. So pause, breathe, feel this moment. It's not just time passing, it's the only place where life is actually happening. And in that stillness, you'll discover something powerful. You don't have to chase the extraordinary to feel fulfilled. Sometimes the extraordinary is hidden in the ordinary, simply waiting for you to slow down and notice it. In the end, life doesn't ask us to be perfect. It only asks us to be present, to be kind, and to keep walking the path with sincerity. Each lesson we've shared today, whether it's practicing gratitude, visualizing inner peace, showing yourself compassion, or simply being present, is a step toward deeper freedom. Not the freedom the world promises, but the kind that rises from within. A freedom from craving, from harsh self-judgment, from the false belief that you need to become someone else to be enough. Remember, the Buddha didn't teach from a throne. He taught from stillness, from silence, from watching the human heart with kindness and wisdom. You don't need to escape your life to find peace. You simply need to awaken within it. If this video touched you, take a moment to reflect. What lesson will you start practicing today? Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. Share in the comments which practice spoke to your heart the most. Your words might encourage someone else on their journey. And if you found value here, consider subscribing for more Buddhist-inspired teachings and timeless wisdom to guide your daily life. And always remember, the journey inward is the most powerful journey you can take. Keep walking it, mindfully, gently, one breath at a time. Namaste.